You're going to want to check out this C&L Cold Air Intake. If you have a 1996 to 1998 Cobra and you want a cold air intake, but you want something a little bit different. This intake is made from cast aluminum, which is much different than your other options. It's not made from plastic and it gives a different look than a black or polished intake would. The intake comes with an 80mm mass airflow housing and it does not require a tune. It has a similar design as the other cold air intake options and all of the pieces to get installed right out of the box. The install for this is easy. It's a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You can plan on spending about an hour getting this on the car. Like any cold air intake for the 96 to 98 Cobra, this intake does not require a tune. The intake comes with a new cast aluminum 80mm mass airflow housing that's already calibrated to be used with the factory 24-pound fuel injectors, so you don't have to worry about tuning. But if you're looking for the most performance gains possible, we always recommend pairing any cold air intake with a tune, no matter the car or the intake. Most cold air intakes for the Cobra are designed like this. They're straightforward, sit on the passenger side of the car, and run along down to the front of the engine bay and mount to the fender with a small shield to cover the filter. This is one of the options though that has a larger filter on it. And this is also different when it comes to materials and the looks too. The entire intake tube and the mass airflow housing are both made from cast aluminum. Your other intakes are either polished aluminum or black plastic, so the C&L is going to look pretty different than your other options. The cool thing about this is that it really matches the factory intake and the valve covers too, so this intake blends in more in the engine compartment than some of the other options. It gives a good clean look. This cold air intake does come with a reusable high flow filter, and that means when it comes time, you can just clean and re-oil the filter. You don't need to purchase a new filter. You'll get everything you need for the install with this intake. You get your mass airflow housing, and you'll reuse your stock mass airflow sensor, your couplers, clamps, the air filter, the shield, and your intake tube. The intake costs about $300. This is on the more expensive side of things, but that's because of the materials of the intake. The cast aluminum does make this more expensive than your other options, but even so, not by very much. You're looking at a $10 difference between this intake and the JLT Performance. JLT does make a ram air intake for the Cobra that's closer to $260 though, so you could always check out that option if you wanted to save money. When it comes to the install, this is an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You can plan on spending about an hour getting this on the car, and we're going to send it over to one of the installers to show you how it's done.
Today we'll be installing a C&L Cold Air Intake for 96 to 98 Cobra. All right, we want to start off by loosening up our clamps and disconnecting all the electrical connectors. This is the air temperature sensor, and this is the mass air meter sensor. Next we can take out the bolt on the firewall that holds the intake on. And lastly, we want to disconnect the PCV hose right here. One there, one underneath that we can get to once we take this whole unit out. We want to remove the air temp sensor from the factory intake. In order to get the new intake in, we have to loosen up the bolts to the factory strut tower brace. All right, we need to remove the mass air meter and transfer it over to our new C&L housing. Slide our clamps on the new housing. Leave them loose for now. Next, slide the air temperature sender into the new intake. Slide the silicone coupling on the inlet pipe. Get a clamp on here. Leave these guys loose for now. Slide our PCV hose back on here. And we're gonna insert our pipe up into the throttle body. Lift up on the strut tower. Hook our PCV hose back up. Now we can snug these clamps up at the throttle body. All right, we need to slide this coupling all the way on in order to have enough room for the air filter to fit in. And then we'll get everything in place and slide it back. Now slide our coupling onto the mass ammeter. It's a little easier said than done. Now we can go through and tighten the rest of our clamps up. Now we can plug our sensors back in. Here's our air temperature sensor and our mass ammeter. And we can put our strut tower bolts back in place. And last but not least, we can install the heat shield.
That's going to wrap things up for the C&L Cold Air Intake with an 80mm MAF airflow for the 96 to 98 Cobra. You can always check it out more online. And for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.